What happens if my home is not selling, and what kind of questions do I ask my real estate agent? Hey, it's Ryan Hodge here, broker owner at the realty firm. Sandra and I have been operating here in London for nearly 20 years. We own the realty firm, currently Southwestern Ontario's leading independent brokerage in terms of brand performance. And we have been fortunate to work with thousands of clients as a company and literally support well over 1,000 people personally inside of our own sales business. And right now, obviously, the market is challenging. We're seeing lots of homes that are sitting on the market, and the last stat that I saw indicated that 2/3 of all homes in terms of last month did not sell that had been listed in terms of the market itself. So it's prime time to wonder what should be happening. I've always shared that realistically, what a seller should expect in the first 21 to 30 days in any market is a really good level of activity. We seek 8 to 10 showings, hint of an offer, or a sold property in that time. And if we're not getting that type of activity, there's really three main pillars of productivity when it comes to your listing to really explore and examine. The first is your product, which is your home. And usually the product is not going to be an issue because well before we go into a listing agreement and put it on the local MLS and market it all over the place, we're going to get a very clear perspective of what are the things that can be adjusted or improved prior to going to market inside of the home. Do we need to present the property in a slightly different manner in terms of perhaps staging the home and making sure that any of the little minor fixes or things like that can be corrected? Now, if there is a major challenge with the property, such as, structural damage or, something that's likely to come up in a home inspection and be a factor for the majority of buyers, we need to understand that and we need to be sure that we are disclosing that up front. So most buyers are going to be aware to this fact, especially when they go to offer in any case. So the product is not usually going to be a challenge, although sometimes slight adjustments need to be made. Second is the promotion, and not all agents operate the same way. Now, I'm not talking about your typical marketing plan, such as photos and video and getting a drone, and the normal things that most agents should be doing when they market a home. If your real estate agent is taking pictures of your home with their phone, that is a red flag right up front, and it's probably time to look at a different marketing approach from perhaps a different real estate agent. But when I look at marketing in this day and age, I can share that it's changed a lot since when I first started. A lot of agents used to use print marketing like magazines or the newspaper, things like that. And we know for certain that most definitely 99% of people start their home search online. So they are looking at online platforms. Most agents will certainly get their property onto the local MLS system, which is then going to feed to realtor.ca. And some of the agents out there are going to have their own personalized website, usually more about them and how great they are as a real estate agent, where your listing should find itself at some point or another. But more often than not, that's just about it. And they may put it on social media to market that they have a listing and that you've got a wonderful home. But you can go a lot deeper with this. And this is what I really think that home sellers need to understand. Digital marketing is such a vast topic, and understanding the real mechanics of digital marketing, how people search online, what people are really looking at when they're going online to search for a home is just as important. And so the number one search portal that people will ever look at, and I'm sure you know this by now, is Google. Google is by far the most dominant force in people showing up online. But what we're seeing is this emerging trend with AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude. You've heard some of these names, but ultimately people are looking at these large language models as a truly huge resource. And they're going to these models oftentimes to search for London, Ontario real estate. And give it a try. Go on to ChatGPT or whatever LLM you're currently using and type in London, Ontario real estate, or homes for sale in London, Ontario, or best real estate agents in London, Ontario. best brokerages in London, Ontario, best real estate teams in London, Ontario, and you'll start to see that there's a lot of answers that are being formulated there. When we approach digital marketing, we do all of the normal things that most agents should do. But one of the key differentiators in our marketing is that we know how the metrics work. So, for example, most agents will place your property on something like Facebook, where we actually look at running targeted ads to postal codes to different marketplaces through the likes of the Facebook and Instagram Meta Business Suite. That allows us to start tracking and measuring activity online so that we can look at number of views, how much interest, how many impressions have come to our website. I've built up www.ryanandsandra.ca over many, many years, which is a huge digital resource that a lot of these search platforms recognize. And I can see whether or not the property's activity is trending upwards in a really good direction, or if it's dropping off, that starts to give us trends as well. Because most agents, when your property is not selling, is going to come to the third pillar, which truly is the most important, and that is price. However, if somebody is asking you for a price reduction, and usually that's a substantial amount of money and a concession that you are going to make, it's really, really important that I think that you have really good resources, feedback, and information and data that's going to allow you to make an informed decision where you understand why an adjustment needs to be made. You see, if the property shows well and there's nothing wrong with your home, and the property is being promoted in a meaningful manner, going across all of the digital channels, usually if you're not getting the activity, it's time to open up the market and look at price. And in this market, price reductions are going to be necessary in order to stay inside of the market rather than being positioned outside of it. So I understand that it's very frustrating when you have great intentions, high hopes, you put your home on the market and it's on the market for 30 days, but it sits. And if there's no activity and your agent says you need to adjust the price, my challenge to you and my serious advice to you is to look at what is the feedback like from the activity that you have seen. Is your agent following up with every single real estate agent that has shown the property to get accurate feedback and insight in terms of what that agent and their buyer said about your property? Did the buyer like it? Did they feel it was priced too high? Did they end up buying something else? Are you getting that type of feedback every time you have a showing? You also want to understand and ask your real estate agent, what kind of activity are we getting online? How many views are we seeing on Realtor.ca, on your website, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on any of the platforms? And are people actually giving impressions on the big platforms like Google? Is my property showing up when people search for London, Ontario homes for sale, and where is it showing up? You see, it's important to have this information because that is going to allow you to have the confidence to then make a decision as to whether or not you're comfortable reducing the price. Product, promotion, and pricing are your three key pillars that are going to support you in making these types of decisions. But don't be afraid to ask your real estate agent these ultra important questions when it comes to making them. I hope that you find these tips beneficial, useful. Again, we are here to serve and support you before, during, and after the sale. If you have any questions, reach out to me anytime at 519-859-5408 or visit us online at www.ryanandsandra.ca. If you enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're going to keep updating you with the strategies, tactics, tips, and all the resources based on all of our experience in the London and St. Thomas market to help you navigate with success. Have a great day.